Hello, welcome to What Am I Doing? The Dungeons & Dragons podcast where one experienced dungeon master and one failed scriptwriter discuss D&D topics. My name is Kinsey, and my ridiculously inadequate pod partner is...
McCaffery.
And I've had such a fantastic week this week, Lewis.
I'm glad to hear
it. It's winter.
It is. It's freezing.
I don't have gout anymore.
Oh, okay, that is good news, thank you.
Yeah, and more importantly, the little lady who lives down the road from me, who hangs her knickers out in all weathers, she's been reported safe.
Okay, I really worried what you were going to say.
All of those things are important to this week, this week's topic, which is environments. And with that, let's go. So today's topic is environments. Is it all theatre of the mind for our players, or should visual maps be encouraged when possible? And how can environments affect play? Am I pretentious? No.
Yes.
Well, I guess that means yes. Lewis, as always, you are tested. Okay. She made me safe, but I don't trust you. Lewis, I recently thought about joining a water aerobics class, but I felt hesitant, knowing that at any moment a group of goblins could attack me when I'm most vulnerable in water. What am I doing?
Failing at life by the sounds of it.
I can't swim.
Oh, okay,
no,
okay.
So that in itself...
Yeah.
Well, number one... The goblins aren't my biggest problem here. No.
I'd be more concerned about the drowning.
Oh, yeah, and the drowning. Oh. Yeah.
I forgot the question. But environments. So, environments can be excellent if utilised well.
Perfect. I'll ask you the first question.
Okay.
You never answer the situations.
Well, I don't know what you want me to say about the situation.
I want you to listen more.
Okay, I'm so sorry.
Okay. Hey, I'm holding the pillow.
Make me cry.
I'm holding the pillow. Do environments change how you make choices? I don't know why I said it that way. As a DM or a player? And should it?
Yes and yes. So, as I was saying before I was so rudely interrupted, environments can be excellent in a session if utilised well. If you are in a frozen wasteland, then that environment becomes useless if you don't remind your players to stay warm, to build a fire, to potentially do Constitution saving throws if they fail to do either of those things. But if you do that, if you put players in a harsh environment or a dangerous one and you actively allow that to impact your session, then it can be amazing. And you can have full sessions, like 3-4 hours long, of players simply trying to get through an environment. Like I said, with a frozen wasteland, they might want to build a fire, build a shelter, find a cave. What's in that cave? It can lead to so many possibilities.
Yeah, I think people don't take it into account. I mean, I'll get to the other questions in a minute, but I think like an environment can be the problem. Yeah. And that can be the B that you're trying to get to, you know, like as in an A to B scenario, like that can be the whole kind of puzzle you're dealing with in itself. I mean, you know,
the world's, like I said, the world has to feel real, and in a real world you're not going to be doing epic quests every single session, but actually having to manage your resources and be sensible about your choices in a harsh environment, it really goes a long way to making the session better. Yeah,
I've not come across anyone that doesn't enjoy that, even if it's brutal. Yeah, that the fact it feels challenging. And also it's different from it just being pure combat all the time.
Exactly.
They can be harmed. They have to deal with scenarios that could end their character. Even as a player, like I really enjoyed that. At first I'm like, oh no. Yeah. But and actually also if people kind of catch on that the environment is having an impact, then that also feels tense. You know, you're like, oh god, they're gonna ask me at any, like, she's gonna bring it up again. I've got to do a con save in a minute.
I mean, whenever I'm at your table and you say do a con save, I have to roll my own like composure check to decide whether to leave the table or not. But
well, we'll move on from that because I think composure's not the biggest of your problems. Wow. She's safe, Lewis. When you picture yourself in a session, is the environment a certain way, like a field or a cave? Is there like an ideal environment for you to play in? And not as a DM, because I think obviously a lot of people who are going to listen to this are probably players.
Yeah.
We always do try to actually have it from different perspectives, but I think, is there like an exciting scenario for you in terms of an environment?
I think the exciting ones, for me anyway, not the best, but the ones where I thoroughly enjoy are the ones that you don't see all the time. So you've got the cities and towns, you've got the plains or forests, which is a common one. But if you're, let's say, climbing a mountaintop, or if you have a full session, like traversing ravines or things like that, or deep caves that go directly to the Underdark, things like that, those are the type of like terrains that I think really go a long way to making it a special session, because like I said, there's something enjoyable about being in a forest in D&D, I think, because you don't know what's out
what
there.
People expect.
Yeah, it's the common one, and I think it's so common because it is just a generally fun one. But I think, like I said, the exciting ones are the ones like a frozen wasteland or the middle of a desert with no life. It feels
harsher, it's less natural to us, to most people.
Yeah, it throws you out of the normal flow of things where you actually have to think about it.
And like a forest that doesn't necessarily pose a threat environmentally, right? Unless it's like always. A forest fire, which we have experienced on a number of occasions. But whereas a frozen wasteland or even a desert, they don't have to do anything. Yeah. But just the temperatures can
even things like even like a forest at night. It's like that like location or that terrain that can change even just by the time of day. But what's your favourite terrain or thing? I've forgotten the word.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, landscape or environment.
Environment.
Yeah.
Thank you.
But, I mean, they all work, right? Yeah. I really like the frozen wasteland. I think, like, to me, it's almost like the most beautiful kind of landscape out there. Like, I'm actually a genuine big fan of landscapes. I mean, I do, as I'd literally do outdoor stuff for a living. But the fact that it's there, it's gorgeous. Not everyone can get hold of it. But then when you're in it in D&D, it's one of the worst places to be. Yeah. There's something about that. There's kind of like a, what's it called?
There's a real risk to it.
Yeah, but it's like a dangerous beauty. There's definitely a term. That's why I'm a failed screenwriter, as described in the intro. But I feel like anything, a terrain that has character, it can't just be there and it can't just be doing things, but it actually it's brought up a number of times through the situation. If there's combat, it will be brought up during that combat because it's changed the playing field literally in some way, or you're misdirected, you have to go a different way because of it. It shouldn't just exist, and I think that's same with video games and movies. When it's just there, brilliant, it might look great and people spend a lot of time on it, but if it doesn't feel like I'm in it, I could just be anywhere, then if I've forgotten about it, it's probably not doing its job.
Well, yeah, exactly.
Last question then. Is there an environment for people to learn the rules of D&D in? Is that even important?
I wouldn't say to learn the rules. Like we said, a classic field, town or forest, I think those are the environments where it's maybe easier to learn, only because you're not having to worry about rolling con saves or keeping warm. Those are the ones that you can actually focus on the main aspects of D&D, because to get into D&D for a new player can be very, very daunting. There's loads of rules that people think that they have to remember, and even your character sheet alone, memorising all of that or understanding what it means. In an easier terrain such as a field or a forest, it takes that part of it out of the learning experience. Yeah. That's not to say you can't or shouldn't learn D&D in a frozen wasteland or a desert or the Underdark, something like that. It's just probably easier. Like
everything, take it step by step.
Exactly, yeah.
That stuff's exciting, but you can't get there unless you know what you're doing in the first place. And it's really not like a big jump, but just enjoy what you got in the first.
Yeah, I think also it depends on the DM as well, because you can throw a brand new player into, like we keep saying, a frozen wasteland, but as long as that DM is willing to stop and answer questions as they go about why am I doing con saves, what happens if I don't stay warm, obviously we all know, but these are the questions that in D&D you might not think of.
A little bit of description goes a long way, actually, to get people interested.
Completely, yeah.
I know people are often against it, but sometimes it's what you need to like fuel the fire, really.
100%.
Well, once again, this week's episode is over. I will actually say the actual outro, as I've just messed that up.
How dare you?
Today's adventure is sadly coming to a close, but we are back again next week with the topic North America or South America, and what one would taste better.
What is that, D&D?
I've been Connor Kinsey, and I've been Lewis McCaffery. Good day, good day. And as always, thank you for tuning in, and if you'd like to join in on the D&D action or just support this show, then please head over to our server Patreon, Adventures in Alandra, which can also be found in today's podcast description, and join us on Twitter at WhatAmID&D.